Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode. This is episode 31 of the Ollie Bella podcast. My name is Sherrie and this is my podcast all about crafty projects, books, TV, a little bit of life sprinkled in. Yeah, and that's about it. So I've got a finished object, I've got a couple of new cast-ons, I've got some happy mail, and I've made some progress on my projects that I shared in the last episode. So I'm just going to jump straight in. I better say where you can find me. It's all on the usual places and everything is linked down below. You can find me on Instagram as Ollie and Bella. You can find me on Ravelry, Goodreads. I think that's it. Yeah, but everything I chat about should be linked down below. And the same for projects. I've got all my projects listed on Ravelry, so any information, head over and have a look. I do need to update pictures on some of them, so I'm hoping to do that today because it's actually quite bright outside. You're probably wondering where I am, because normally if you do watch the podcast, normally I'm set up in front of my sofa. I am still in the front room technically, just the other end of the front room. It's a really big room, and when we bought this house they had knocked the wall which separates the dining room to the front room, and they put in, it's not an arch, it's quite a big open way actually, it's a really open room, which sometimes I really like that and sometimes I wish that they hadn't have done that. And I know that we could go through the hassle of putting the wall back in, but we don't want to do that. So I am up the other end of the front room. In this end of the room, it's kind of like a family space. So we have my littlest one who is 6. She has most of her toys here. I've obviously got my cabinet of all my crafty supplies in, and then in the corner, which you can't see but kind of behind the camera in that kind of direction, is where my journaling desk is. And then right behind you is, or behind the camera, is Crumpet, our little dwarf hamster. He's sleeping. That just went off one a little bit, didn't it? So yeah, if you're wondering where I am, I'm still kind of in the front room, up the other end. And I thought, because I've tidied up, it was such a mess. I've tidied up the cabinet, had a bit of a tidy up, bit of a sort out, and I've thought I would see what it'd be like to film here. I'm not sure about the reflection of the glass and everything, but hopefully it's okay. I was a little bit mindful that last time, because we live on a busy main road, that despite the fact that I have the windows shut, it still picks it up. And I know there's nothing I can do about that, unfortunately, because I don't think I can, set up a road closure outside. And it probably bothers me more than it bothers you watching it. So I am sorry if you can hear you can pick up a bit of noise traffic. But hopefully if I'm a little bit further up this end of the room, it should be a little bit quieter. If not, maybe next time I'll pop in the kitchen. Right, better get into it. So I've got my notes. Okay, so I'm just going to pick up the first thing, which is my sweet shop blanket. And it was really lovely to read all your comments on the last episode, because lots of you have started this blanket, and a few of you said that you're using yarn from your stash, which is brilliant. And then some of you have been out and bought yarn for it. I've seen on Instagram under the hashtag is lovely, where some people have really planned out their colours and they've gone for like a colour theme. Really lovely. Right, I've pulled out what I need to pull out. Now, I think on the last podcast, I had completed, this is my first square, and I think I was halfway through this second square. So I've done my first 4. That's my hair again. And I'm now on to this one here. This is one of the Kate Celine minis that I showed, and I've got a handful of them, and they're going to be perfect because they are all little 10-gram minis, and that's the perfect amount. I can't wait to knit with that one. And I am using Drops Nord, and this is in the, I think it was 01 off-white. I'm holding that double, and I'm doing everything by the pattern. I've not changed it for any reason. I've not changed the stitch count. I've not changed the needle sizes. I've kept everything the same. And that's how it's looking. So I am just on the decreases now of this one. There you go. That's that one. Really enjoying it. It's really lovely, and I really like how it feels really nice and snug, and it has that really nice thickness to it because it's 4-ply held double, which is really nice and great for using up stash. And this one is living in my Sandy by the Lakeside project bag, which is perfect for the autumn. And I kind of just leave it like this with it open at the top, and I leave it just next to my sofa, and in between knitting socks or crocheting, I'll pick it up and add a few rows onto it. I do need to keep like a little, on the pattern, have a little post-it note to remind me what the next row is. When you get it further into the pattern itself, you know from the right side and the wrong side. Yeah, so there you go. So have a look on Instagram. So the pattern, let me show you the front of it, just in case this is the first time you're watching and you've not heard of it. This is the Sweet Shop blanket by Laura Penrose. And if you have a look on Instagram at the hashtag Sweet Shop blanket, I'm sure that's the hashtag, it's really lovely to see everyone's blankets and what colours they're using, because the thing is, whilst I've gone for 4-ply, you don't, Sweet Shop blanket. Whilst I've gone for 4-ply, I think a few people have tried it with different weight yarn, so you might have lots of DK in your stash, which would be fine. You could just use that, because that was my other thought actually. I do have some DK, and I'm almost sure that when Laura made her blanket, I'm sure she said that some of the yarn in her blanket is DK, which is great. So it means you can use up even more of your stash. Right, okay, that's that one. Next up is I will show you Jessie's leg warmers, which is living in this really cool funky bright bag, which is the Urban Stitcher. In here is Jessie's leg warmers. Now I have completed the first one, and I've just got some bulb stitch markers there just to help mark the rounds, and I've got this really cute, I wanted to add a stitch marker, and I don't know why it's twisted. I've got this one, which is so sweet. It's by Lindsay of Simply Serving. And I thought it was just the perfect stitch marker to add to this project, because it was such a cute little unicorn on there, and Jessie loves unicorns. I am not following a pattern. I have a Ravelry page for this one all set up. I think I cast on 52 stitches. I did a 2x2 rib. I can't remember how many rounds I did. It is all in the information on the project page. And I'm using this really lovely self-striping yarn, and I'm holding it double with Suri alpaca. Now I've finished. I cast on, I was really annoyed with myself. I cast on the second one straight after finishing this one. I've even sewn all the ends in. She tried it on. She tried it on as I was knitting it, because I wasn't sure how long she wanted it, and she didn't want them too long. She kind of wants them quite slouchy, just to sit on top of her. She's got these really cute little new Vans that she got with her birthday money, and they kind of sit on top. When I've finish them, I'll put them on, and I'll have to take a little video and share it with you because it's so sweet. And I cast the second one on, and I reckon I was about halfway. And then for some reason I looked at it and I thought it did look a little bit bigger. Not a great deal, but it bugged me. And I was thinking, and I knew I was using the right needles. I am using higher sharps, and these are size 3mm. I was using the same needles. And then I counted the stitches and I was off by, I think I'd cast on, I think it was a 54. Yeah, I think it was 54 stitches rather than 52. And I know that's only 2 stitches different, but it bugged me that it was coming out bigger. And so I had to frog it. I had to frog it whilst it was with, obviously, frogging it with the Surrey alpaca. That is not fun. So I've had to put it away, cast something else on, but now I'm ready to come back again. But I do need to, I have got some Surrey in here. Oh, I was going to chat to you about this actually. I'll take this out while I'm here. There. I need to cast. I need to wind up some of this, so I'm going to leave this out because I need to wind that up to finish off the second one. But that is that one, so that's living in there, and that will be done by the next time I film an episode. I'm going to chat to you about this yarn in a minute, so I'll pop that there. Have a quick sip of my pumpkin spice. I did get an email from Emma Bridgewater. I don't know if any of you love Emma Bridgewater mugs. Back in the day, it used to be all about the Cath Kidston mugs. That is going back a really long time. And I used to collect all the different mugs, and they're really big mugs. They're what I would call a builder's mug. And if you're wondering what I mean by that, it's a really big, chunky mug cup that you'd have a really big drink of tea in it. And I used to have all the different designs. And then for some reason, Cath Kidston changed the shape and the style of their mugs, and then I didn't like them then, and they actually stopped doing that style and the designs. They all went a little bit rubbish, if I'm honest. And then I moved over to the Emma Bridgewater mugs, and I love these. This one is from last Halloween. They've got another one out, but I'm not overly keen on that design. It's still lovely, and it would still be, you know, one that I would happily have, but it's just not, I didn't look at it and think, oh, I really want that mug. But I do want one mug that's there. Their Christmas designs have come out today, and on this size, and I think they might do it on their larger one, it's all Christmas lights. Yes, that's got my name on it, definitely. I want one of them. The other Christmas one I've got, I think I've got one which is this size, and it has joy on it. And then I've got the larger one, which I think they call it the cocoa mug, don't they? Like a hot chocolate version. It's a bit larger. It's almost like what you'd have a latte in, I think. But I want to get it in this size. I quite fancy a plate as well. Let me know. Let me know if you are a mug collector and you like collecting mugs, despite the fact that my husband is like, we don't need any more mugs. We can't actually fit them in. We have to bring them down from our loft and then pack up the ones that are in the cabinet to be able to make room for the Christmas ones. And yeah, but there's something special about a Christmas mug, isn't there? You can never have too many Christmas mugs. Okay, right, next up I'm going to show you 2 new cast-ons. The first one is living in this cool little bag, which lovely Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful made me when we met, which was it when we met? I can't remember now. Must have been. It was a very long time ago. And I love how you can carry this on your wrist and you could knit on the go if you want to. And I've got Ali's pin on the front there. And also living in here are my Strictly socks. So if you are in the UK, you probably know, unless maybe you're not into Strictly. Not everyone is into Strictly, are they? The majority of people I chat to enjoy watching it. So Strictly season is back and it started. And Saturday evening they had their first performance show and that was really good. Really enjoyed watching that. I love the fact at the beginning the episodes are really long because obviously everyone's in it still. Obviously as the weeks progress, the episodes sometimes get a bit shorter as couples then obviously leave the competition. And I did shed a tear when they did the Len Goodman tribute. I think it was Anton de Beck when he shared the little sentiment at the end when he said how much he misses Len. And I can't remember who he quoted, but he said it was from a poem that said something along the lines of I only miss him when I think of him and I think about him every day. And I was like, oh yeah, I was crying. Were you crying? The yarn that I've gone for Strictly is this really lovely colourful yarn and it's a gold stellina. I had to pick a yarn that had some stellina in it. And this yarn I have been keeping in my stash for a really long time because it was probably one of the first ever skeins of hand-dyed yarn that I bought when I first got into hand-dyed yarn, knitting, and I've just kept it. And I thought, no, now's the time. This is the perfect occasion to cast it on. It's bright, it's colourful, it's got the stellina, it's perfect. This yarn is Snuggly Stars yarn. There you go, it's really old. I've had it for a really long time. And that's about it. I don't think I'm going to do a pattern, you know. I'm even tempted to do a ribbed sock. I might even just carry on. I'm not sure. I kind of just want to see what it looks like when it's just knitted. So maybe I will just do a plain vanilla sock and see. And that's it for that one. And what I'll do, I will leave a link down below to Ali's episode where she chats about Strictly. I think it was her last podcast episode actually. And it's a really fun knit along. It's called a sock along. I'm almost sure Ali says it doesn't have to be knitted. If you crochet socks, that's absolutely fine. And it's really lovely seeing everyone's cheats that they do. She encourages you to cheat to be able to, because the idea, I guess, is to knit on your socks whilst you're watching Strictly. But also if you've got a cheat, then that means you can knit on them whenever you want. And so my cheat for Strictly is really funny actually. Angela Rippin, who is one of the contestants in the competition, is from where I'm from. So that is my cheat. So I can just knit on these whenever I want because that is just the perfect cheat, is it not? So that's what I'm going with as my cheat, to be able to knit on these whenever I want. But yeah, head over and watch her episode. She explains all about the sock along, and there's prizes up for grabs. There's a hashtag on Instagram. It's so much fun. That's that one then. And then my second new cast on is living in this really cool bag, which is by Amelia X Joy. And you can find her on Instagram and you can find her on Etsy. And this is my really cool Hocus Pocus bag. Love this bag. and I cast on the yarn that I showed you in the last episode, and I've only just started it. It looks a bit of a mess, I'm not going to lie to you. And this yarn is by Green Lambkin, just because I'm doing 2 at a time. I shoved the ball band in here. So this is Suzanne's label, and this is on Suzanne's sparkle base, and it's called Witchy Woo. It's funny, when I think on the last episode I referred to something as like the dog's dinner, and someone said they found that really funny. And again, this literally, when I show you it, it looks like a dog's dinner. It's so, that's the thing sometimes, isn't it? When you first start a project, it always looks so messy to begin with. You get yourself in a right little pickle. But here's the yarn. It's a really fun Halloween colourway. I love all the colours. The yellows, the purples, the pinks, there's grey, there's like an emerald, there's black. There's some really fun Halloween colourways out at the minute. I'm trying really hard not to purchase, I'm trying really hard not to purchase anything because I'm going away in November, and I'm trying to save all my money for that, so, which is really hard. It's really hard because in a minute everyone's going to be sharing all their Christmas yarn, and when I tidied up my cabinet I did try to put all of my Christmas and Halloween colour yarns, all the colourways, in this end of the cabinet, and I'm thinking I really want to cast on some of the yarn that's there. So it is a little bit like that when you go on Instagram, isn't it? Just don't go on it. Don't go on it. Right, I have cast on 52 stitches. I am following Kay from the Crazy Sock Lady, has a really good tutorial for 2 at a time socks, and I followed the tutorial. When you've watched it a couple of times, you pick it up really easy, actually, really easily. And Kay explains it really well. And the great thing about an online tutorial, you can pause the video, you can rewind it, you can go back to it. So I didn't need to refresh myself for this one because I will show you one of my finished objects in a minute, which is another pair of 2 at a time socks. And I plan to do this with my Christmas socks because I ordered the Yarn Badger self-striping Christmas sock yarn for Christmas. For Christmas. Oh my. Let's have a sip of coffee. Right, I think you all gathered that I bought the yarn for Christmas, and I wanted to refresh myself with 2 at a time socks. I am really liking 2 at a time. I think this might be a new favourite method, in which case I'm going to need to get another one of these cables. I couldn't remember the length of this one last time, but I found my packet, and this is on a 40-inch. So these are the Chowgoos, which are my favourite needles. 40-inch, 100 centimetres, 2.5. I am using the leftover mini from my Halloween socks. This is a Homespun House, and it is gold stellina. So I thought the yarn went really well with this colourway. So I've gone for contrasting cuffs, and then I've just started, and you won't even be able to see the pattern. I've literally only just done 2 rounds, but I'm going to be knitting the Tin Can Knits Rhyolite pattern. I think it's Rhyolite because this is obviously the 4-ply version. There is the actual rye pattern, I think, was first written for DK. I was looking for my phone then. Do you ever do that? I think the worst time is when I've been on the phone to my mother-in-law and I've then said to her, I can't find my phone. And I was in the shop at the time and I was panicking because I was trying to find my card to pay for something at the checkout. And she's laughing, saying, "You're on your phone." please tell me that one of you've done that, or you've done something near enough as silly as that. We still laugh about that to this day. Can't find my phone. Oh, so funny. Right, what I was trying to say is, you can download the Tin Can Knits app. It's a free app, and all the patterns, all the free patterns are on there. I think you can sync it to your Ravelry as well. So if you've paid for any of their paid for patterns, you can sync it so that the patterns will then come over to the app, and it'll be in a library within the app, and you can set up projects. So I've got this set up, and I'm thinking about casting on the flax sweater for Jessie as well, because I've only ever crocheted her a sweater. I've never actually knitted one. I thought it'd be nice to knit her one, so I was able to set that up. It's a really good app. You can put in what size you want to do, and it works everything out for you. It works out what needle sizes you need, how much yarn you need. It's really good, so I really recommend it. What else? I've got my witchy stitch marker there, witch's hat, and that's also from Suzanne Green Lambkin. I would link her shop down below so you can have a look. And hopefully by the next episode, well, not hopefully, I would have definitely added a bit more, and you'll be able to see the pattern. It's a really nice pattern. The majority of the front of it will be pearl bumps, and then the back is just a plain knit. So that's on there. Pop that on there, put them in there like that. And I think that's it in terms of knitting projects. It was a noisy car went by. I'll start again what I was trying to say to you. On the previous episode, a few of you commented saying that you are finally knitting socks, and it was really lovely to read your messages, because I know a few of you have been trying and you've got frustrated, you've given up, you've had to put it down for a while and then come back to it. And it was really lovely to read the comments saying that you've finally done it, and you've cracked it, and you're now knitting socks, and that's brilliant. I'm so happy that you've persevered with it, because it is really frustrating when you start out with a new craft, and when you're watching people and they're showing things and you're like, oh, I want to be able to make that. I think that now, especially about garments, when I watch other people's podcasts and they show all their beautiful colour work and all the garments, and I'm like, oh, I wish I could do that. I think Crumpet's awake. As long as he doesn't go on his wheel. Hamsters are really noisy, aren't they, if they're on their wheel? Thankfully, he's obviously down in the front room, so when we're all up in bed, you can't hear it. I think he's just come out for a bit of food. What was I saying? Yes, so when I have been watching people on their podcast and they've shared some of their garments that they've knitted, and they're really intricate, and a new thing, I was going to chat about it actually in my next episode. I would really love to be able to give cables a go. There are some stunning cabled sweaters out there that I'd look at and I would be like, there's just no way I'd ever be able to do that. And I've been knitting for a few years now. Don't get me wrong, I don't knit anything elaborate compared to some people, but I look at it and I think, oh, I wish I could do that. And I think, well, why can't I? It's just going to take a bit of time, and it's the process, isn't it? And once you've done it, you feel so proud and chuffed with yourself that you've managed to do it. So if you're watching this and you're thinking to yourself, oh, I wish I could do that, then you can do it. Just start off with something really basic, and if you need any help or anything, I can point you in the right direction towards tutorials. I can suggest people, I can suggest patterns, and if I can't, then I'll try and find someone that can, or I'll ask my friends or whatever. So if you're looking for a little bit of encouragement, this is your encouragement. So stop putting it off. Make a point of giving something a go. So if that is knitting socks, then get yourself some sock yarn. You don't need to buy anything really expensive. You don't need to buy expensive hand-dyed yarn, even though it is gorgeous, and you will fall down that rabbit hole, I will warn you. Then this is your encouragement to give it a go. Give it a go. Don't put it off any longer. Right, okay, I think that's enough chit chat. We are done with, no we're not. We're done with knitted projects, but I've got an EPP project to show you. I think I shared this on, not the last episode, maybe the episode before, a couple of episodes back. And this is the Hexie hot water bottle cover by lovely Jewels, So Sweet Violet. Jewels has a podcast. And that's it. I remember showing that, and I showed some Liberty fabric that I won ages ago, and I was going to use that. Then I remembered, I'm really annoyed because there's a pen mark on here. I can't get the pen mark out. Then I remembered I've got this really lovely EPP set, which is also from Jewels. I don't think Jewels has got any of these kits in her shop. Now you can buy the pattern and download the pattern, and then Jewels does have, I don't think she has at the minute, she might do by the time this has gone out, and I know she does do them regularly, and they're always really popular and they sell out, so keep an eye out. But you can buy kits where it comes with the pattern and an actual kit to be able to make the hot water bottle. Blimey, that was a bit difficult, wasn't it? So in my little box here, I've only done a few hexies. I thought, oh, I forgot about this, and I was like, I'm going to use this. I think originally I was going to use these hexies to make a cushion, but I'm not. I'm going to use it to make the hot water bottle cover. How pretty are these? Love that one. I think that's the Betsy print, isn't it? Where you can, that one's in lots of different colours. How lovely is that one? That to me is so, you know, when I was chatting earlier about Kath Kidston, the good old days. I mean, some of their designs now are still lovely and nice, but some of their first designs were really lovely. So in this box, I've got the Hexie templates. I've got all the fabrics that have been cut out. I've got, I've got glue pen, glue stick. I already had one actually from my other EPP. And I've got some, you can buy like refills. I bought all these refills, they're in there. And then I've got my needles. I do use certain needles. I think they're clover ones, but I can share more projects, like little like hand, like sewing projects if you like. And then I've got little wonder clip. Oh, I keep dropping everything. Little wonder clip to clip them. But this type of project is so lovely if you need a break from knitting, crochet. Yeah, it's been really nice just picking the fabric, and then you literally, this is not very in-depth tutorial. There's plenty of really lovely tutorials, but you basically have your template and then you line it up on the back. And there's lots of different ways of basting. And by basting, I mean attaching the fabric to the template. And then you would literally get your glue stick, run it over, and then you just fold it, then keep folding it. And then it looks like this on the back of the template. And then eventually, when you've got all your templates ready, you then put the right sides together and then you stitch, and then that's what makes up the lovely pattern. So that is a really nice project to have on the go, because sometimes even knitting something really basic, sometimes you're just not in the mood for it. I think the other day I think maybe my head was, I had a sore head had a headache, but I really struggle to just relax of an evening. I need to be doing something all the time, and I think something like this would be really good just to have. Just a little tray on your lap, and then I kind of use the top of the box as like a little like a mat almost, I guess. I use the top of it to do the hexes on. But I'll leave a link down below to the pattern and to Jewel's shop, so you can head over and have a look and have a check on Jewel's Instagram, because she's always updating it as well. But yeah, my head was hurting, but I still wanted to do something, so I think I started that and did that. But I've had my neck and my shoulders have been really sore recently. I think as well sometimes I am a little bit of a stress head, and I get stressed really easily, and so I think maybe that's not helping. Yeah, that's definitely not helping, but there you go. Okay, moving on to finish objects. I only have one finish object, but I'm still happy the fact that I've got one. So I have finished my Halloween 2 at a time shorties. Here they are. Don't they look fabulous? I've got my sock blockers. Oops, let me pop one on here to show you. Because on my last episode, I said that I've got plenty of long socks, but I wanted some shorties. So that is my plan, to knit more shorties. It looks like a funny shaped. Let's do that. I could do with like the next size up sock blocker. These sock blockers were free from Inside Crochet years ago. So that's that one. The yarn that I used was a Harry Potter colourway by a Homespun House, and they are. And it was it was Halloween at Hogwarts from last year, 2022. And I've got a nice chunk of yarn left over. I mean, that does look like the dog's dinner, doesn't it? Look at the state of that. I'm gonna have to sort that out. That's the nicer one. I'll show you that one. That's what I've got left. I'm not sure. I've not weighed how much is left. Could definitely get another pair of shorties out of them, and that's obviously the yarn that I used. And that's the yarn that I used for Jessie's cuffs on her socks, which was part of this because it was a sock set. And I started these on the 1st of September and I finished them on the 20th of September. And I knit them 2 at a time. I think I said that on the needles that I've got Jessie's on now. I think I'm gonna have to get myself another set of needles possibly, because I really liked knitting the 2 at a time. Yeah, it was really nice. And I cast these on to join in with Kay, Crazy Sock Lady Kay. She is hosting a really fun spooky make along, and it's called the Crazy Spooky Mow 23, and I think it's over on Instagram. If you check out the hashtag on Instagram, it will show you what everyone's making, and it's really fun when there's a make along, and when you click on the hashtag and see everyone's projects, it's really nice. So that is for that. That's that finished object. So now I can empty this project bag and put the yarns, the leftovers away, and put the project bag away, ready for another project. We're done now. We have literally just got Happy Mail, books and TV to chat about. And then we're done, which is great. Next up, we are on Happy Mail now. And I've got some patron minis that I want to show you. And I've got a couple of Christmas ornaments that I want to chat to you about. So I saw on Kay's, I think it was her Instagram where I first saw it, and she was sharing, I think it was in the morning, where she was doing her 30 minutes of knitting, and she was adding on to her, or she was working on her Christmas ornament, and it looked really lovely to see the progress she made on it. And I love handmade Christmas ornaments, and I thought, do you know what, I'm gonna have a go at doing that. So totally, this is, oh, well, now he's scratching at his house. He is so funny. And yeah, so Kay totally enabled me to do this. I ordered this one from Amazon. I had a look online, and there were, oh, do you know what? I didn't write it down on my notes, but I've just thought about it now chatting to you. Is it, I think the brand is Mill Hill. They have some amazing ornaments, counted like cross-stitch ornaments, and they even have Halloween ones. And I spent so long looking at all of them that I couldn't decide which one to get in the end. And I opted for this one on Amazon. But once I've done this one, I'm going to give this a go and see how I get on with it. I really, really would like a Mill Hill one. They have snowmen, they have Santas, they have little animals. They've got all sorts. They've got so many different designs. They are lovely, and they've also got the beads on them. So in here, I don't know if there's any beads in this one actually. I don't think there is. It just says that it's that it contains the pre-sorted thread, so that's good. That is good. So the thread looks like it's already been sorted out, so you can see like on the back here where you've got the colour codes. That's good. And then it's got the plastic canvas. So this is on a 14 count plastic canvas, and then you've got the needles and the instructions. That's really good, that thread organizer, isn't it? Did I say it was by dimensions? Let me know if you've done any of these kits. But the Mill Hill, let me know if you've done any of them as well. With the Mill Hill, they do have beads with them, and I've seen a YouTube tutorial on how to get started with some of them, and the beads look tiny. They do look tiny, but they look amazing. They look really lovely. So that one there, I think I paid £6 or £7. It wasn't expensive. The Mill Hill kits are a little bit more. I think they're more towards £8 to £10 per ornament kit. But these are going to last for years, aren't they? They're going to be ones that you're going to cherish and get out every year. Let me know if you enjoy making Christmas ornaments, and let me know which type of ornaments you like to make, because whilst I've gone for the cross stitch, the next kit I want to show you was one that I bought last year, and I'm going to make this one with my little one, and this is a felt kit, and you can probably see there, this was £2.99, and it's so cute. It's a make your own felt hot chocolate, and it's by the company Trimmets. I've probably shared this on here, to be fair, but it's really basic, really simple, but I thought it'd be fun to do with my littlest one. You've got the instructions there, and you've got some stuffing, so we're gonna have fun making that one. And I know there's other designs. I think there's like a snowman, a penguin, but I really liked the look of that one. But yeah, let me know if you like to make handmade Christmas decorations, and if you like to make felted ones, if you make hand sewn ones, if you do embroidery, cross stitch, and let me know about the Mill Hill kits. Yes, I do hope that I get on with this, because like I say, there's some really lovely kits out there. I've got my Patron minis from Homespun House, and these are the August ones, and I've only just received these probably a couple of days ago, I think. So if you've not received yours, then look away really quickly. Here they are. They are beautiful. Look at them. I love those colours. I won't read out the names just in case, because I know some of these names are colourways that you might be familiar with. So I won't read them out, but aren't they beautiful? So I'll put them with my ones from July, because I've still not decided what I'm going to do with them yet. Right, if you were looking away, you can look back now. I've put them away. I have just looked up the pattern. I couldn't remember what the name of the pattern was, but it's called Something Cozy. I'm going to cast on the Something Cozy sweater by, right, forgive me if I'm not pronouncing this correctly. Is it Jana Billow, I think? And on the front of the pattern is Christina from Chelsea Yarns, and I love Christina's yarns. Her yarns are beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. If only there was a stockist in the UK, I'd love to try her yarns. Anyway, so I plan to cast that on. I'm not sure what colours or what kind of colour theme I'm going to go with the yarn. I'm not sure. I've never dyed this yarn before, so I'm not sure how it takes to the dye. But I'm going to probably go for quite a saturated colour, I reckon. Or I might just go for like a mishmash of colours. I'm not sure yet. But then the one on the front of the pattern of Christina, the one she's wearing, is a real beautiful pale blue. And it's a variegated, I think it's a variegated one. Obviously she would have dyed the yarn. I can't remember the colourway now, but that was really pretty. So anyway, that is the plan. Let me know if you have made that before, and let me know if you've knitted anything with this. I know lots of people are making the clutch, aren't they, which is by Petite Knits. I don't know the name of the pattern. Is it called the Teddy clutch? Actually, that looks fun. That does look fun. I don't think I'd use it though. That's the only thing. It looks lovely, and I would love to make one just for the fun of making it. I suppose you could make it and gift it, couldn't you? That would be nice. But I don't think I'd use it. That's the only thing, because I did think of making one, because I just love seeing all the ones that people have been making, but I don't know if I would. I don't know if I'd use it. So I'm not sure when I'm going to get this done. I've got all these plans to do all this stuff, and then no wonder I get myself all stressed out with everything I want to do. There's just not enough time to do everything, is there? Anyway, let's move on to books and TV. So, and I just wanted to say a big thank you to Jana from Finnish Knitting Stories, who kindly gave my podcast a really lovely mention on one of her, I think it was a couple of episodes ago, and it popped up on my YouTube that she'd mentioned me, and I had an influx of followers, and I thought to myself, oh, I wonder why that is. And then I was notified about Jana mentioning me. So thank you so much if you have popped over from Jana's podcast. Her podcast is so lovely. I love all the bright, colourful projects she has. I love the combination of knitting. She is a very talented knitter, I will just say. Very talented. And she knits so fast. And Jana also has her own shop as well, and on her vlogs she'll quite often vlog from her shop, and I did watch her vlogmas and I rewatched it again not long ago. Her vlogmas is lovely. It's really lovely. So if you have not been over and watched any of Jana's podcasts or her vlogs, I highly recommend that you do. She's so lovely, and you can find her on Instagram. I'll link her down below so you can find all her details. And another podcast that I wanted to give a shout out to, it was really nice because Jana said that her little feature that she was doing, where she mentioned me and a couple of us, is she was doing like Share the Love. And I just wanted to say that I have been really enjoying Fran's podcast, Franny Do Makes. Fran has a really lovely podcast where she shares all her knitting, her crochet, she does a little bit of spinning, she does cross stitch, she also chats about books. It's a really lovely podcast, and I just wanted to share the love and say that if you have not popped over and watched any of Fran's episodes, then I highly recommend that you do. And as for TV and books, so books, I forgot in the last episode that I had finished reading a book by Ruth Ware, and it's called The Death of Mrs. Westaway, and I totally forgot about that one. And I read that one on my Kindle. Quite often I'll forget. If it's normally an audio, I quite often forget that I've listened to it. But that was a good book. I really enjoyed it because partly for the fact that it was based down in Cornwall, and it is about a young girl who sadly, her mum passes away, and she's a clairvoyant. She's trying to earn enough money to be able to pay her bills, but then she owes money to a loan shark, and she's struggling basically. And then a letter turns up out of the blue informing her that she is possibly due to inherit a big sum of money. And that's when she then travels down to Cornwall, and she meets part of her, this is on her mother's side, and she doesn't know who her father is, and it all unravels, and it's a really good book. I really enjoyed that one. That's the only Ruth Ware book that I've actually read before. And another one popped up as a recommendation. Is it called Dark Woods or Into the Woods? So I have popped that on my Goodreads. And let me know if you've read any of Ruth Ware's books. When I did look up, I guess it's the case with most authors and books, and not everyone's going to enjoy everything, are they? But quite a few of the stories that she had written, the reviews weren't the best on there, but I enjoyed that one. I mean, that's not to say that I'd enjoy all of the books that she writes, but let me know if you have read that one, or if you've read any of her other books, and if you would recommend any. And I'm still reading I Found You by Lisa Jewell. That's getting really good. It's about, I don't know if I explained it because I hadn't have read a lot on the last episode, but it's about a gentleman who has basically got amnesia. We're led to believe that he's got that. I'm not sure yet. My detective brain's like, And that's the great thing about Lisa Jewell books, because they keep you on your toes. Quite often, I don't know about you, but I'll watch a film and I'm pretty good at predicting what's going to happen, or if it's a whodunit type film, or you're trying to work out who was the murderer, or who that person was, or something like that. Normally I'll go, it's so easy, it's that person. And normally it gets a bit annoying because I have to stop doing it, because my husband would be like, I didn't know that, and now you've ruined it. So I have to stop myself now. But with the Lisa Jewell books, they would make great movies, because I am still, up until sometimes the last chapter, I think I've worked it out, and I'm so wrong. I'm so off the mark. A lady has let him in to stay. She has a holiday let at the back of, or is it a granny flat, maybe what we call over here a granny flat. So it's not in her actual home, but it is part of her home, part of her house. Or is it at the bottom of the, can't remember now. Anyway, so and our children aren't happy about it, because basically he's a stranger and she's let him come into their lives, and he's actually married. So the book is really interesting, because you're in one chapter, you're reading about him in her, and the lady's trying to help him remember, and he can't remember. She's suggested going to the police, but he doesn't want to go to the police. And then in the next chapter, it's the wife of the man, and she's like, my husband's gone missing, I don't know where he is. And so it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. And I'm still reading American Dirt. I think that's it. I'm still listening to The Club as well. on audio. And that was really funny because the last episode I got mixed up between Reese Witherspoon and Weatherspoons, which is the pub over here, and I realised that afterwards, but I just left it in for comical effect, but it did make me giggle. So that was book talk. And then TV, we are watching Strictly, and I'm on series 3 of The Watcher, and we have just recently finished re-watching all of the Twilight Saga, all of those films. I love those films, and I'm definitely, well, this would be a good question to ask you, if you have watched the Twilight films and if you like watching them. Are you team Jacob or are you team Edward? I am definitely team Jacob. I love those films. And I've got written down here, I've got Gilmore Girls, and then I've got a big question mark. I've literally 3 times I've tried to watch that series. I struggle with it so much, and it's always this time of year that you see everyone suggest, you know, snuggling down with your craft, like some candles, get all comfy on the sofa and put on Gilmore Girls. Well, I have tried that. I'm going to try it again. I've not tried it for a while. I am going to try it again, but I am struggling with it. I mean, I don't know if it's because maybe it's quite old now, isn't it? But then I like rewatching old series. I'll give it another go. You might say that it gets better as the series go on, because I don't know how many series there are. I've got a feeling there's quite a few actually. So I'm going to try and do that, and we're done. We are all done. So thank you so much for watching, and as always, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and watch. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you've been reading, what you're watching, if you've been to the movies. Let me know what you're working on. It's just really lovely to see your comments pop up and just read what you want to share, basically. It's really nice. So I hope that you have a lovely day, a lovely week, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.